Alright everyone, welcome to Sour Horsepower and welcome to part 2 of ranking my subscribers' cars. So we do this based on a point system. So there's a total of 15 points that you can get. 5 points for the model of car, so 1 being a sort of base model, lower model car. And then 5 would be the top tier model of that particular car. Then we do 5 points for mods. So if you're stock, you get no points. 1 point for a little bit of mods, and then up to 5 for full-blown race car type builds. And then you get 5 points for subjective. So that's my personal ranking score on how I feel about the car. Now I try not to be too harsh. I try to give everybody a fair shake at the points here, but I like some cars. I do have my biases, unfortunately. Everybody's has their own little bit of biases. So I'm going to go ahead and put up the rankings from our part 1 video here. Currently the leader is Toronto Racing with 14 out of 15 points. And then we had, we had 9, looks like 9 cars in our first video. This video we have 6. If you're interested in being a part of my part 3 video of this, go ahead and follow us on Instagram or Facebook, and then usually before these videos I'll make a post about a week in advance, or at least a couple days in advance, so you guys can DM me your submissions for the vehicles if you want to be featured in the video. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into today's cars. Alright, so starting off our video here, the very first car we're going to talk about comes from a Instagram submission from @reggie.816. He has a 2020 Shelby GT350R. His mods are 2 oil catch cans, some mud guards, PPF, and ceramic coating. So not a lot of mods. But let's go ahead and take a look at these pictures here. And yeah. So he's got all blacked out. He's got the red stripes down the middle. The carbon fiber wheels that come on the GT350R. The red Brembo brake calipers. This is a very, very nice car. I've done some videos on my channel of my friend. He has the standard GT350, not the R, and I hate to say it, but I actually really love that car. I've driven it a couple times now, and it's a really amazing car. Now I'm getting all of these notifications ruining my video. Alright, so that was actually a late submission coming in. We'll go ahead and put him at the end of the video here. But back to this GT350R. So like I was saying, they're absolutely fantastic cars. He hasn't done a lot of mods to this, unfortunately, yet, so I'm sure there will be some mods to come, but really these cars don't need that many mods, if any at all. They already sound amazing from the factory. These things actually handle brilliantly. I'm assuming the R is even better than the regular GT350, and that thing is absolutely crazy in how that handles. So let's go ahead and jump into the points for this one. So with it being a 2020 and not like an earlier car, unfortunately it is no longer the top model for the Mustangs. The GT500 takes that crown. So I am going to have to give him 4 points for the model, not the maximum of 5 which you would have gotten. So I do it based on the model year that your car was released. If you have the top trim, you get 5. If you have the low trim, you get the 1. Unfortunately for him, at 2020, he only gets 4 because it is not the top trim. For mods, he only gets 1 point as of right now, because the only real mods he's had done is the catch cans and the mud guards, kind of basic stuff. But like I said, yes, he's going to hurt on points, but at the end of the day, that car doesn't really need mods, which rolls us into our subjective score of 5 points. I absolutely love those cars. Like, I'm not a Mustang guy at all. If I was going to have any Mustang, it would be the GT350 or the GT350R. They're absolutely fantastic cars. So go ahead and total points is going to be 10 for Reggie here. And at the end of the video, we'll do the whole list. We'll break it down, this video, who won this video, and then we'll throw it in with the total list for everybody that has come before it. So moving on to the second car. It's a 1987 Buick Regal Turbo T. Now, there is too many mods that he sent me, like a whole list of stuff. Too many mods for me to list on the screen here. So I'm going to highlight some of the, I've read through the whole list. I'm going to highlight some of the main mods that show exactly what he did. So it's a 4.5 liter Ford stroker motor, ported heads and intake, custom cam, fuel system, front mount intercooler, precision 7168 turbo, built trans and rear end, full ride tech suspension, not just like coilovers, but like every link and arm and everything you can imagine suspension wise. He's done it. Some chassis bracing. He had it fully repainted, had the bumper shaved down, had it all really nicely redone. He deleted the high beams. As you can see, right next to the grill would be the two inlets there where the high beams would be. He actually put mesh screens where the high beam headlights used to be for additional airflow, which I thought was just awesome. And then his license plate there is think twice. Okay, yeah, I'll think twice about racing you. So let's get into his points here. So for the model, he gets 5 because back in the mid to late 80s, the Regals, the Grand Nationals, they were kings of the streets back then. Especially now with everything that he's done to it, they were the cars to have back then. So going on to his mods, 5 obviously, because the list is just too long to even put up on the screen. And then for my subjective score, 5 points. I really do appreciate this build. It's really clean. The pictures he sent, you guys will have seen them on the screen here. But it's a really clean build, really well thought out, really nicely done. So props to at Turbo 6 Productions. I'm not sure if I said his name at the beginning, but at Turbo 6 Productions, you've done your Buick community very proud with this one. I will say. So that gives him a total point score of 15 points. So that is our first perfect score I think I've ever given out. I mean, we're only 2 videos in, but we'll see how long it holds up as the only 15 to go. But yeah, that's a good car. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the third one. All right, so up next is a submission from @dragon.me.crazy on Instagram, and this is her 2019 Challenger RT Shaker. It has a Mishimoto oil cooler, upgraded Brembo brakes with stainless steel lines, catch can, Vox wheels, strut and sway bars, and BMR springs. Now, as you can see from the picture she sent us here, she does a lot of road course stuff, which I can super respect. I've actually done some road course stuff in my previous Challenger, not my current one. Road course is what I prefer to do more than anything. I do like my drag racing here and there, but road course is where my heart lies. So I can really respect the build of trying to do a mild road course setup, I guess, with the Challenger. So everyone knows that the Challengers are heavy and blah blah blah, they can't turn. Well, that's not necessarily the case. You do a couple nice tasteful mods, they can actually be really capable cars. Now I'm not saying they're like supercars or anything on the road course, but they will surprise you, that's for sure. If you've never experienced a Challenger on a road course with a proper driver, that's a whole story there. But if you get somebody that knows what they're doing driving a Challenger on a road course, they will surprise you. So let's go ahead and jump into the points for this one. So for the model, she gets a 3. So it's only an RT shaker, not a Scat Pack shaker. So unfortunately, the RT kind of lies in the middle ground there for the Challengers. It's not the V6, not the base. So we get a 3 for the RT shaker. Now for mods, she gets a 3 because it's not a little bit of mods, but it's also not kind of overboard. There's no like power adders, no exhausts or anything like that. So 3 for mods. And then subjective, normally I would give a car like this just a 3 because unfortunately it is an RT. But I do respect the way that she's driving it, and she's done a lot of road course stuff as we've talked about. So I will give her a 4 for this RT shaker because of the purpose for which she uses the vehicle. So big props to her. That gives her a total of 10 points for dragging me crazy. Alright, so next up we have War Meds on YouTube. He has a 2020 Challenger Redeye wide body in Smoke Show. It is lowered and is tinted. So not much else to talk about there. He just has basic stuff. It looks good. The picture he does. I mean, it is lowered a little bit. It's hard to tell in that picture The front is definitely lower. It's noticeably lower. The rear, maybe not so much. I'm actually not sure. I haven't looked at that many wide bodies, unfortunately. But yeah, it definitely looks a little bit lowered. So we'll go ahead and give him that. His points, he gets 5 for the model because the Redeye wide body in 2020 was the highest trim you could get. And then for mods, he gets a 1 because it is at least lowered and has tint, so it's not stock. And then for subjective score, I give it a 4 for being a Redeye wide body. I mean, can't really beat it, can you? Yeah, you can. You can beat it with a lot of things. But my Mopar heart gives me a 4 for the Redeye wide body. All right, so up next we have, this is submitted on Facebook from Josh Junk. So it's a 2017 Camaro ZL1 10-speed automatic. So his is in the Krypton green color, which is a very rare color, which he told me. He said it was only, I believe it was 116 made, I believe was the number that he said. But then he said of that, it was only like a little over 60 were made in automatic for 2017. So it's a really sort of rare car, numbers wise. But he doesn't have too many mods right now. It's just tint. He does have a, the old fashioned radar. Got to be safe out there. And then he did paint the rear spoiler black to offset it from the green of the car. But he did tell me that he is going to have a 2650 supercharger on it sometime next summer. So I do look forward to seeing that. Hopefully you post some pictures on our Facebook page showing us when you get that done. Now, let's get into the points. So for the model, he's going to get 5 points. Because in 2017, I double checked this, so I don't want to hear nothing. At least what Wikipedia said. In 2017, the ZL1 was the top tier Camaro. They didn't have the 1LE out yet. That came out in 2018. So he gets 5 points for being the top trim of the Camaro in 2017. For mods, he gets a 1 because he did tint it. He did paint the rear spoiler. If he had the supercharger, it'd be more. But for now, just hold 1 point for mods. And that's subjective. I'm going to give him a 3. I'm not the biggest Camaro fan, but I do respect them. They are great. They are great cars. They're very good performers, especially the ZL1. They're not slow. They do handle well, but it's just not for me. The green does look nice, though. I actually I have a personal friend of mine that has a ZL1 in green too. So I do appreciate the car. It's just not, it doesn't tickle my fancy, you could say. So that gives him a total points score of 9 for this one. So, yep, that's going to be that. All right, moving on to our next car. This comes in from @PlumCrazy19, 2019 Scat Pack Shaker. It's actually a personal friend of mine. He submitted it. The car is stock, so it is what it is. Luckily, I'll give you a little story. So we're kind of lucky it is stock because the motor went up in his. It happens from time to time, and he had to get a new motor replaced under warranty. So good thing it was stock when it blew up, or else it might have had a little bit of issue there. So let's get into the points. For the model, he's going to get 4 points for the model because it's a Scat Pack Shaker, so it's not the top trim like a Hellcat, and it's not a mid-tier like an RT, and it's a shaker, so we'll give him 4 points for the model. Mods, he's going to get 0 because unfortunately it is stock. It doesn't even have tint. Is what it is. And then subjective score, I will give him 3 points because it's a good car, but it ain't no Hellcat. So, yeah. Let's go ahead and give him a total of 7 points. Alright, so last on our list, but certainly not the least, is @Carbons_Redeye on Instagram. He has a 2019 Challenger Redeye wide body, has a Scalia Motorsports intake rings and engine bay accessories, vibrant race mufflers, the ZL1 add-ons full kit, so front splitter, side skirts, rear diffuser, Mopar hood pins, the airlift system with bags and compressors, and then Vox wheels. And he has it in Destroyer Gray, which is an excellent color choice. If you've been around the channel for a while, I had a Destroyer Gray Charger Scat Pack, so I really do like that color. So, looking at the pictures, he's got an absolutely dumped on the air ride suspension. The splitters give it a nice accent to make it look a lot lower than it. Well, it is pretty low. He's got the full, both front and rear tires tucking. The hood pins look good. Wheels look good. They're almost like, they look like, sort of like Hellcat wheels, like the split spoke Hellcat wheels, but just slightly more designed. I actually quite like them. So let's see what the other picture looks like here. What we got. So this is the engine bay, and he's got some nice orange accents to offset the gray from the Destroyer gray. Yeah, I dig it. I dig it. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the points score for Carbon's Redeye. Since it is a 2019 Challenger Redeye wide body, just as we did on the earlier one, he does get 5 points for the model. And then for the mods, I'm gonna give him a 4 for the mods, because I know doing an air suspension and all that stuff, it's a lot of work to get that all working properly and set up and stuff. Now he does have the ZL1 add-ons kit, so he's got a whole bunch of exterior design mods, the engine bay accessories, the hood pins and stuff, and then the mufflers. So not too much like performance stuff, but I have to respect the taking that leap of faith and going and doing the airlift system with a full, especially how he's tucking the wheel and tire on there. That's actually really cool. You don't see that too often on Challengers, but if it's done right, it actually looks really good, and I do give him a huge amount of respect for pulling it off the way he did on this. And then for my subjective score, I will give him 4 points, because normally I don't like lowered muscle cars, but I think the way that he has this set up with everything that we just talked about, I'm going to give him a solid 4 points. That's going to bring his total for this up to 13 points. Alright, and kind of interjecting in the video here, because I've already filmed everyone else, but one of my buddies here, he sent in his submission after I filmed, so we're going to throw his stuff in now. It's coming from @ant92083 on Instagram. He has a 2015 Hellcat Challenger with an absolute ton of mods. So I'm just going to list off like I think I got like maybe 10 written down here, but yeah, there's a whole long list. All the supporting mods you would expect him to have on top of these, he has. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So he has a 272 Hellraiser pulley on his Hellcat, 1050 IDX injectors, fuel pumps tuned by OST, pinned crank. He has the FI inner chiller spacers and blanket for the supercharger. He has a one-piece drive shaft, the HHP drag springs, drag pack. Oh, I don't know what I was typing on here because I usually write them all down here, but yeah, full drag pack, basically the springs, the suspension stuff, everything you would need to make a Hellcat run fast. My man Ant has it. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the points, because there's the long list of stuff. The car, as you see on the screen here, all blacked out, really mean looking. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into those points. For the model, he gets a 5, because in 2015 the Hellcat Challenger was basically king of the muscle car world at that point, so he does get a 5 for the model on that. The mods, he gets a 5, because he's short of putting a cage in it and stripping out the interior and going completely overboard with it. He's kind of turned this thing into, we'll say, a race car. He's getting there. He does race it a lot. He's been working through some issues lately, but he's starting to get them figured out. He's going for a solid mid-9 second pass. He's really close to doing that. And then for subjective score, I'm going to give him a 4 out of 5. Yep, so 4 out of 5 on subjective. He's got a lot of stuff done to it. Things I would do differently? No, not really. I don't know. I don't know why I'm giving him 4. I'm just not feeling the 5. Sorry, Ant, if you're watching this. But yeah, 4 out of 5 is still a solid score. It's going to give him a total of 14 points, which should slide him into the tie for second place with Torado Racing. So let's go ahead. Some of the talking you see after this of me going through the leaderboards isn't going to include Ant, because I already filmed that. But I will go ahead and put his stuff in the leaderboard here. So let's go ahead and get to that. Alright, so to recap, the total points tally for today's video. Leading the way, we have Turbo 6 with 15, Carbon's Redeye with 13. Reggie with 10. Dragging Me Crazy with 10. War Meds with 10. Josh Junk with 9. And Plum Crazy 19 with 7. So how is this going to affect the overall rankings? So Turbo 6 Productions takes the new top spot over Torado Racing. Carbon's Redeye does come in for a tie in third place now, tied with just another 5.3 Fox. And then our 3 10-pointers here are going to fall in about 5th or 6th place, and then everybody else is going to filter in near the bottom. Now, if you want to be featured in this next portion of our video like we discussed at the beginning, go ahead and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. I do post it here on YouTube, but the way that the posts work, you guys can't submit me pictures or anything underneath my post on YouTube. So if you want to send me a picture of your ride, go ahead and send it to my Instagram or Facebook. And if you want to send it now while you're watching this video, feel free. I'll make sure to get it in the next video. But if you want to wait to see when I'm actually going to post the video, and I'll reach out and ask. I'll make a post and ask for submissions when the time comes. We'll usually do one every month, maybe 2 months. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, give me a like. Comment below your thoughts. Let me know if I completely screwed up grading. If I did, is what it is. I'll fix it for the next time. But that's going to be it. Take care. Have a great day.